Hey everybody, how are you doing? I'm well, thanks for asking. Today I've got the Knight of Pentacles as the obstacle and the 10, or I should just say coins. I read it, but it's coins. It's coins, it's a value thing. And then the 10 of coins as the opportunity. So getting started here. I think with the court cards, I like to interpret them as representing individuals that that you're dealing with. This guy looks kind of almost a little menacing with the black horse. The Marseille deck has got the more popular blue horse. Only one of the knights has a white horse, and I kind of think of them as vehicles. And the blue color is usually related to spiritual or virtuous or maybe cultural kind of themes. So there's something interesting there. This is one of the interesting kind of occasions where one of the court cards, where a court card from one suit features what looks like an object from another suit. This guy's carrying a wand with him. It's kind of interesting. I see this as potentially symbolizing someone who is in their pursuit of value, and I think the value that this guy's pursuing is tangible, unlike the king and maybe the page to some degree, who are dealing with, I think, maybe more abstract values. Also kind of like the two, I guess, sort of central coins in this one, the ones that are surrounded by the four yellow ones. I think this is someone who's pursuing actual values. This is a money person, but I think this indicates that they're they're moving on instinct in a lot of ways. The thing that they're bringing with them is instincts and a growing, changing, adapting kind of attitude. Um, Again, some of the other characters, particularly the king. I think when the king looks forward to future future things of value, he's still holding on to this idea of what things are worth in the past. I think he's got a reference as far as this might represent someone you might be doing business with, or in some way might be engaging in someone you might be engaging with who is pursuing something of value, and like tangible, resources of some sort. Yeah, I think this symbolizes someone who isn't isn't really looking to the future in a way that's managed by or informed by the past. And as an obstacle, I would say that the reading of this is that this is posing a danger or some sort of a threat. Now, just to be fair, it's particularly with large investments or larger, investment undertakings, it's pretty rare for people to not almost entirely resign themselves to what is known. You know, here's how people have been investing, right? Here's what the good and bad investments are. You got a feeling about something, you have an idea, you have a feeling something's gonna happen in the future. It's not how we invest. That's not how we plan, play it smart. Um, and yeah, particularly with larger investments, right? I think it's very rare that someone has the freedom and the creativity to really just go forward with their own idea. And often those guys are revolutionaries of industry. I remember reading something about Steve Jobs, the Apple guy. I remember reading that when he was developing the iPhone, the idea for the iPhone, he he refused to work with focus groups. He rejected the idea. He might have even been against focus groups much earlier than the development of the iPhone, but he he had this outlook that if you get a bunch of people together in a room and ask them what they want, they're all just going to come up with sort of better versions of what already exists. We have cars, why not faster cars? Why not flying cars? But the majority of these kinds of ideas are going to be improvements on themes that already exist. And I'm guessing around that time, the way cell phones were looking and stuff, I'm guessing most people would have wanted a smaller cell phone, a lighter cell phone or something, to essentially revolutionize the whole idea of what a phone was to people. It's like, we're going to make it bigger, but it's essentially just going to be this TV. Um, Allegedly, he came up with that by himself, and it was his idea, and it was his instinct and gut feeling that this was the right idea, the good idea. And then he had the money and the ability to move on this. If this was an idea suggested to some sort of company that was managing capital, investing in things, um, they probably would have not gone with something that has no record of success in the past. You know, um, with one of the exceptions, I guess, being things like the kinds of venture capital firms that fully expect 98% of the projects they fund to fail, but they're gambling on the one or two that succeed out of that 100 to to make up for all the losses across all those other companies. And this is generally the case, but keep that in mind when you're dealing with a single individual. Is this guy the guy that's going to take that funding, let's say? Is he going to be that 1 in 100 or 1 in 50 that transforms it because his gut feeling is the correct one? Um, so while individuals like this are incredibly advantageous for essentially being able to let go of the past, um, and move forward, truly thinking creatively and not just kind of repeating what everybody else has been saying. While that's really advantageous in this case, I think it's kind of like a warning that maybe this particular person isn't the person who you're gonna get lucky with, right? Um, as far as this relates to people in my life, archetypal sort of individuals in my life, this is the archetypal friend who uh, who's got a real strong feeling about that new cryptocurrency, you know, and he put $1,000 into it, and like he thinks you should too, something along those lines, where it's the research isn't there, we don't know that much. It's this investment that this crypto hasn't even existed for very long, so like sure you could get it on the ground floor if it goes somewhere, but yeah, this kind of reminds me of the kind of friends that I have that they just know they have that feeling. So something to think about at least. And then opportunity, the ten of coins. Look at those dags. So the interpretation that I'm kind of focusing on today is mostly of this Marseille card, um, and I find it interesting how in so many straightforward kind of ways this card looks like the 8 of coins, but a part of the plant flower arrangement that separates the 8 coins and the 8 of coins has now had these 2 extra coins placed on top of it, and the color has been sort of inverted from all the other coins. I feel like in a way this implies that this is like a representation of meta value on top of the value in itself. And it kind of made me think about how much something like, if you have money, right? The money's worth something. You have $100. $100 is worth $100. But now if you manage that money, in some way, if you budget it, let's say, how much is the skill of budgeting the money worth? What's the value of moving money around, of organizing it, of dividing it, or grouping it up together? Because if you're good at budgeting, then that $100 in a way is worth more. I mean, let's say to put it inversely, if you're really bad at budgeting and you have $100 to budget, you might need to pay someone $10 to help you budget that. So then your money's worth less because you just spent, $10 is gone. So like having that skill adds to the value of that money itself, but the skill on its own is kind of like this meta value. So it kind of made me think about the value of being able to evaluate value as the opportunity. One interpretation of this that I thought of in the political realm is the value of being someone kind of like being a judge is a valuable, being a good judge is of great value. Like if you have the reputation amongst your community for being a really good, fair, and creative judge that always comes up with ways of negotiating situations that everyone's happy with, that's cool. I think in this case, it's kind of like the value of being good at distributing resources. So it could indicate someone who's like, some sort of community organizer. It's like everybody pools their money together. And first of all, just the act of organizing everyone to pool their money together to accomplish something requires some sort of administration or leadership, and that's certainly worth something. Um, but yeah, and then managing that money, or in a, I guess in a more sort of potentially nasty way, it's like keeping all the people with money separate, because the pattern on this card, the parts of the flower do keep all of these coins separated in their own little pockets, right? And and certainly it could be of great value to some people to keep a group from uniting together. I mean, there are, all throughout history, there have been people whose job it is to like smash unions for the interest of someone whose interests don't align with the interests of the individuals that are potentially uniting their resources. But yeah, overall, it just kind of made me think about the meta value of recognizing where value is, and either the value of uniting it or the value of keeping it separated. Yeah, something to think about there as well. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Drop me a like if you did, or also a comment if you would like, comment free reading if you would like to be entered to a draw for a free reading. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.